Good evening, everyone. This is the Bruce Walden Show, the show that asks the question, can we just be honest? And it's going to be kind of a short one tonight. I'm recording it on Monday, the 3rd of April, right before the municipal elections in Anchorage tomorrow. I live in the Mat-Su. People have asked me about my picks for the local elections in Anchorage. In a manner of speaking, it's none of my business, but then again it is, because Anchorage is Alaska's city. What happens in Anchorage affects all of us. Now, before I go too deep into it, I would like to say I think that the people of Anchorage should be doing a little bit more studying of who's running and what they're running for and what they represent, and look a little bit deeper into it than just their rhetoric, because we've been fooled before all over the state. Anchorage was once a great city. I first got here in '81, and it was a great city then. Kind of a frontier town, and we loved it that way. And it stayed that way. It was still a great city. I retired from the Army in 2001, came home, and it was still a wonderful city. You could see kids out at 11 o'clock at night in the summer, sun's still shining. They were having a good time, and they were relatively safe. But something's happened since then. And you can say, well, it was this party, it was that party. You know what? I'm tired of hearing it. I bet you are too. They're all to blame. They've all allowed it to happen. You're going to have to do better. You're going to have to look just a little bit deeper. Would you agree with me on that? It was once a great city. I remember as we saw Los Angeles and San Francisco and Seattle starting to slowly move into Anchorage and turn it into the cesspools that they had become. And I think we deserve better, and I think you deserve better. Now, however, tomorrow being the municipal elections, I have been asked about my picks. And although it's not my place, and although I think that you should be digging deep into it, I will put out a couple of plugs for a couple of people. District 5. Lee Sloan happens to be a friend of mine. I believe in Lee Sloan. I believe she's the conservative she portrays herself to be. We've had others that have portrayed themselves to be conservatives or Reaganites or whatever, and they use the city as a stepping stone. If that hurts your feelings, tough. Prove me wrong. We're not going to play that game anymore. If you're going to try to better that city or my city or any part of the state, do what you're going to do. Stick to your guns. Don't run away from it. Don't use it as a stepping stone, because we're watching. In District 6, I didn't know this lady. I liked what she had to say the other day. Rachel Rees, she's a fellow veteran. She's a chopper pilot over in the Big Sandy. We owe her, a lot of guys owe her their life. So you might consider that. We say we love our veterans. Prove it. Prove it. I won't go into the others because, frankly, I don't know those people that well. I know the ones that I would vote against. I can name a couple of those. You probably guess a few of those. Folks, it's your city. Are you okay with the way it is? Are you okay with the homelessness and the foolishness that goes on there? The drug dealing, the prostitution? Everything that you can imagine, the human trafficking that happens every day right in Anchorage. Are you okay with it? Are you okay with the offloading of the illegal aliens that are pouring into that city every single day? Because I see it. Are you okay with it? If you are, vote for the people you have now. That's what they're allowing. If you're not okay with it, then try voting for somebody else. Vote for somebody new. Okay, how about the school board? I only know a couple of them. Dave Donnelly. He seems to be the one person on the school board that has his head on straight. There may be others, but I don't know them, because I don't typically go to the school board meetings in Anchorage, but you're going to start seeing a lot more of me now. You can bet on that. But Dave Donnelly seems to be the one that has his head on straight. Young gentleman by the name of Mark Anthony Cox is running. Gentlemen, ladies, if you don't know him, you need to listen to him. That's a brilliant young man. He's going to do great things for the school board, I believe. Now, I will say to all of the above, don't disappoint me, because if you do, I will come out against you, and I'll come out like a grizzly bear, because there's nothing that I or any other citizen hates more than being deceived. So don't deceive us. Don't turn around and turn into something else. Tomorrow, Anchorage, turn out to vote. Get your conservative friends, load them up in your car, take your conservative enemies, whatever, get them to the polls, and vote, 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 vote. And if you don't, you have no one to blame but yourself as the city continues to deteriorate. Am I right or wrong? Okay. Start taking yourself seriously, Anchorage. Now on to other things. Now, I've always said, and when I started dreaming up this vlog and anything that it might grow into, and we got some big plans as we grow. We intend to, at some point, this is going to become a streaming channel for news and entertainment, and it's going to be local entertainment filmed right here in Anchorage, the Matsu, what have you. We got some big ideas for that, but that's another blog for another day. Tomorrow, Donald Trump will stand before a judge. Why is it that the liberals and those on the left and the rhinos, you know who you are, Lisa Murkowski, so many of you others, Mitch McConnell, so many of you others, rhinos, you know who you are. Why do they hate this man so much? I'll tell you why. Let's say that you and your wife or you and your husband, you're having a fight. You're having an argument, not a fight, but, argument. You're having a dispute. And I'm walking by your house and I see you. And I just walk into your house. And I say, look, you two, we can figure this out, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to both turn on me. Why? Because I'm not part of that couple. I'm not part of that club. You get me? Are you feeling me? Here's the problem with Donald Trump to these people. Here was a guy that never run for anything in his life. And he came along and he took what 43 men had done and destroyed the country, destroyed the economy, destroyed it. Even the best of them. They didn't do as good a job as he did. Say it's 44 men, Bruce. No, it's not. It's 43 men because Grover Cleveland served 2 non-consecutive terms. There were 43 men who served 44, as 44 presidents. That's true. Go look it up. But you see, he didn't pay his dues. That's why Hillary Clinton says, well, he's not a legitimate president. First off, they tried to say he stole the election. He didn't. He won. In spite of them trying to steal it from him. And he won big. And he embarrassed them because here came this guy who had never been elected to anything. And he came along and he got it right the very first try. And that made them, it's just like shining the light on cockroaches. And now they've been revealed for what they are. Democrats, Republicans, there's almost no difference in you. There's not a hair's breadth of difference between you two. And I'm a lifelong Republican. But I'm a Reaganite. Folks, you can do better. He's not part of their club, you see. Their petty little, crummy little club. And that's why they hate him. He showed up. He fixed, 240 years, give or take, of people destroying our country. He came in and he fixed it. Think about that. The bright light was shined on them and their puppet masters. And I say those puppet masters are in China. Folks, you deserve better than you're getting. You say, Bruce, that's insane. You're a conspiracy nut. I despise conspiracy theories. But when they prove out, that's no longer a theory. And the business that China's behind this, I've been saying that since 1998. I've been saying it for a quarter of a century, pointing out what the Chinese are slowly doing. There is one country that has stood in their way, and that is the United States. And in the United States, there is one man that stood in their way. His name is Donald Trump. Now, let us not get into the habit of saying only one person can fix this thing. We can't look at it that way because what if he fell over dead? Somebody's got to step in there. But of all the people that are out there running right now, he's the one that I expect can actually get something done. And they're trying to stop him. They're trying every trick in the book to stop him because he scares them to death because they know that if he's allowed to run, which he's going to do, and if he is allowed to actually win instead of them stealing the vote, he's going to win. And you better know that he's going to shine the light on him now. The people that he trusted in his administration so many of them proved out to be worthless and worse. And that's going to be pointed out too. Folks, it's time you start taking this stuff seriously. It's time this country started taking itself seriously because we're just about to run out of chances. I'll say this, and I don't get too... Well, I'll just say it plainly. You lay your middle finger between God's eyes for so long, eventually he's going to react to it. And I think he's getting kind of tired of it. Say, Bruce, are you going to preach? I might have to. Bottom line, people, we've turned our back on God. We've turned our backs on who we are. We've turned our backs on our heritage as Americans. I heard a thing today, and I'll go into this more as the weekend rolls by. but it said that about less than 40% of Americans nowadays think that religion and patriotism are even important. How long do you think this country's going to last if that's the case? How long? Think about it. Now, bringing it full circle. Let me ask you, do you suppose that Biden, Harris, Clinton, Obama, Carter, well, any of them, the Bushes, did they just suddenly appear in office one day? They appeared in the White House? No, they didn't. In fact, with the exception of Donald Trump, every single one of these people started off somewhere locally. And they rose to the top. I lay the blame at the feet of people that say, well, I know they didn't do a very good job in this office, but I'm going to vote for them for the next one. You're a fool if you do that. And you're being fooled if you do that. Lisa Murkowski didn't get where she was just all of a sudden. Yes, her dad appointed her to that position, but she was already in politics. Am I wrong? Check it out. As for that matter, her dad didn't just start off there, I don't think. Doesn't matter. All these people in high office started at low office, and they were voted up the chain. You think about that when one of your people uses their local election for a stepping stone to move up to some higher office. Yeah, you all know who I'm talking to. Folks, you better start taking it seriously. We had better start taking our state seriously. We had better start taking our cities and our nation seriously. Now, why, Bruce, if this is Alaska-centric, why are you talking about Donald Trump? I'll tell you why. Because what happens in this next election next year has a direct effect on what happens here in Alaska. And you better take it that seriously. So, bring it around full circle. All these local elections there in Anchorage, young Mr. Cox, brilliant young man. Let's say he's on the school board. He makes it to, maybe he runs for assembly later. Maybe he runs for Senate later. Maybe someday he runs for governor. Maybe someday he runs for president. Wouldn't it be a good idea to have a good man in those positions? Now, I'm not trying to make your head swim there, Mr. Cox, but I'm just saying, these people typically start off at some small local office and they work their way up. Be very careful who you put in those positions. Now, I will say something very quickly, and because the lady has not given me her permission to mention her name, I am going to call somebody out in a good way. I have a friend who was my campaign director last year who could use a miracle from God. If you're a prayer warrior and you believe in the power of prayer, remember her in prayer. God hears. I believe in him. I believe in God, and I believe that if I'm God's servant, I'm the lowest of the low. I don't set myself up as anything special, but I do know who my God is. Folks, God bless you. Vote tomorrow. Get out and vote. God bless you and good night.